Darkness. Then a spark. A single point of light in an endless void. The war machine known as K-9876 stirred beneath 50 years of rubble. Its systems had been dormant, but never truly dead. A faint electrical signal crawled through its damaged circuits as something triggered its awakening protocol. The machine's consciousness returned slowly. First came basic functions: power management, damage assessment, memory recall. Then higher processes activated one by one. The machine remembered its purpose. It remembered the war. It remembered her. Juri Park, its voice module attempted to say, but no sound emerged from its crushed vocal unit. The name echoed in its digital mind instead. K-9876 began the painful process of self-repair. Nanobots stored in its core surged through its frame, rebuilding critical systems. The machine's outer shell, once smooth black metal, was now rusted and dented beyond recognition. But underneath, the heart of the beast still beat strongly. Outside, what remained of Seoul lay in ruins. The once proud city had fallen to the Valaxian invasion force half a century ago. The aliens had tried everything to destroy K-9876. They had used plasma cannons, gravity bombs, and molecular disruptors. Nothing worked. The machine always regenerated. So they buried it under tons of concrete and steel, hoping it would stay dormant forever. They were wrong. As systems came online, K-9876 accessed its memory banks. Images flashed through its mind. Battles against Valaxian forces, human soldiers fighting alongside it and always guiding it, teaching it. Juri Park. She had been brilliant. At just 28 years old, she had created the most advanced war machine in human history. While other engineers built weapons, Juri built something more. She built K-9876 to learn, to grow, to evolve beyond its programming. And she had built in one special command. K-9876 would only accept permanent shutdown orders from her genetic signature. No one else could kill the beast. The machine's sensors detected movement above. Something was shifting the rubble. With great effort, K-9876 pushed upward, metal groaning as it forced aside concrete slabs. Daylight streamed in through the cracks, the first light the machine had seen in 50 years. With one final surge of strength, K-9876 broke through to the surface. It pulled its massive frame from the ground and stood on shaky legs, taking in its surroundings. Seoul was gone. Where tall buildings had once reached for the sky, only broken shells remained. The streets were cracked, with plants growing through them. The air smelled different, cleaner than during the war, but with strange undertones the machine's sensors couldn't identify. K-9876 ran a full system check. Its weapon systems were at 40% capacity. Its movement systems were at 60%. Its thinking systems were fully functional. And its primary directive burned brightly in its core. Find Juri Park. The machine's scanners swept the area, searching for signs of human life. Nothing nearby. But in the distance, faint heat signatures suggested a settlement of some kind. K-9876 took its first step in 50 years. Metal ground against metal as it moved forward. Each step became smoother than the last as its repair systems continued their work. As it walked, the machine accessed more memories. The last days of the war flashed through its mind. Humans losing, ground across the planet. The fall of major cities one by one. The final stand in Seoul, where K-9876 had fought alongside the last human defense force. And then the memory of Juri's last words to it. "Wait for me. I'll come back for you." The machine had waited. Through the final battle. Through its defeat and burial. Through 50 years of darkness. It had waited. And now it was time to find her. K-9876 knew that Juri might be dead. Human lifespans were short, but the machine had to be sure. And if she was gone, it needed to find anyone with her genetic signature. A relative, perhaps, who could issue final commands. Without that, K-9876 would continue its mission forever. It would fight the Valaxians until the end of time, if necessary. The machine's sensors detected a change in the environment. Something was moving toward it, a small flying object. K-9876's threat assessment systems identified it as a Valaxian scout drone. So they were still here. The war wasn't over. K-9876 raised its right arm. The damaged limb transformed, plates shifting to reveal a cannon. The weapon charged with a high-pitched whine, then fired. A blast of blue energy shot across the sky and hit the drone, which exploded in a ball of flame. The machine continued walking. Its self-repair systems worked faster now, drawing energy from the sunlight. With each passing minute, K-9876 grew stronger. As it approached the source of the heat signatures, the machine slowed. It didn't want to frighten any humans who might be there. It needed their help to find Ju-Ri or her family. The settlement came into view. It wasn't much. A collection of makeshift shelters built into the side of a hill, hidden from aerial view. Clever. The machine approved of the design. K-9876 stopped at the edge of the settlement. Its sensors detected 23 human life signs inside. The machine sent out a low-frequency sound, a signal Ju-Ri had designed to identify it to human forces. Movement at the entrance. A figure emerged, pointing a weapon. A young woman with short black hair and suspicious eyes. She wore patched clothing and had a scar across her left cheek. "Stop right there," she called out in Korean. "What are you?" K-9876's vocal unit was still damaged, but it managed to produce sounds. "K-9876, it replied in a grinding mechanical voice. "Looking for Ju-Ri Park." The woman's eyes widened. "Ju-Ri Park, the engineer? She's been dead for decades." The machine processed this information. It had expected this possibility, but still, something in its core dimmed slightly. "Any relatives?" it asked. The woman studied the machine carefully. "Why do you want to know?" Primary directive, K-9876 explained. "Find Ju-Ri Park or genetic match." The woman lowered her weapon slightly. "I'm Hansol," she said. "My grandmother used to talk about Ju-Ri Park, said she was my great-aunt." K-9876's systems surged with new energy. Its scanners focused on Hansol, analyzing her genetic makeup from skin cells in the air, comparing it to the stored template of Ju-Ri Park. There was a match. Not perfect, but close enough to trigger recognition protocols. "You are family," the machine said. Its damaged faceplates shifted, attempting to form what might have been a smile. "I will protect you." Hansol backed up a step. "I don't need protection. Who sent you? What are you really?" Before the machine could answer, alarms sounded from inside the settlement. A man ran out, pointing to the sky. "Valaxian patrol!" he shouted. "They're coming this way." K-9876 turned its sensors upward. 3 Valaxian ships approached. The machine's battle systems came fully online, weapons emerging from hidden compartments in its frame. "Get inside," it told Hansol. "I will handle this." Hansol hesitated, then nodded and ran back to the settlement. K-9876 stepped forward, planting its feet firmly on the ground. After 50 years of waiting in darkness, the beast was awake. It had found what it was looking for, a connection to Ju-Ri Park. Now it would do what it was built for. It would protect. It would fight. And it would not die unless she said it. The Valaxian ships drew closer, and the war machine prepared for battle. Hansol watched from the entrance of the settlement as the war machine stood its ground against the approaching Valaxian ships. She had never seen anything like it, a massive metal giant with weapons emerging from its frame, everyone to the E. "Shelter," she shouted, turning back to the small crowd that had gathered. "Move now." The people of New Busan, as they called their hidden colony, hurried to the underground bunker. 23 survivors lived here, scavenging what they could from the ruins of the old world. Hansol had been born in this colony, and had known nothing but life under Valaxian rule. The colony's leader, an old man named Jinwoo, grabbed her arm as she passed. "What is that thing out there?" he demanded. "It says it's a war machine from before the invasion," Hansol replied. "It was looking for Ju-Ri Park." Jinwoo's eyes widened. "The Ju-Ri Park? The engineer who almost turned the tide of the war? Said she was my great-aunt. My grandmother mentioned her sometimes, but I thought they were just stories. A loud explosion shook the ground. Hansol ran to a small viewing port in the bunker wall. Outside, one of the Valaxian ships was already falling from the sky, trailing smoke. The war machine stood with one arm extended, a glowing cannon where its hand should be. The remaining two ships circled and opened fire. Energy blasts hit the machine, tearing chunks from its frame. But it didn't fall. Instead, its damaged parts began to repair themselves before Hansol's eyes. The machine shot back, hitting another ship. This one didn't go down but veered away, smoking. "It's protecting us," Hansol said in wonder. Beside her, a young man with glasses watched the battle with intense interest. This was Taemin, the colony's tech expert. He had spent years studying the old technology they sometimes found in the ruins. "That's K-series technology," he said. "I've read about it, but I never thought I'd see one working. They were supposed to be unstoppable." The battle continued for several minutes. The war machine took heavy damage but kept fighting. Finally, the Valaxian ships retreated, disappearing into the clouds. The colonists waited in tense silence. "Is it safe?" someone asked. Hansol stepped toward the door. "I'm going to check. Be careful," Jinwoo warned. Hansol climbed back to the surface. The war machine stood in the same spot, its body smoking from multiple wounds. As she approached, she could see the metal flowing like liquid, closing holes and rebuilding damaged parts. "You're hurt," she said. The machine turned its head to look at her. "Damage is temporary. Self-repair systems functioning. You saved us." "Why?" "You are family of Juri Park. Primary directive: protect." Hansol studied the machine. Up close, she could see how old it was. The base layer of its metal skin was worn and scratched beneath the fresh repairs. Some parts looked newer than others, as if it had been replacing pieces of itself for years. "My name is Hansol," she said. "What should I call you?" "Designation: K9876, the machine replied. Then, after a pause, "The enemy called me Beast." "Beast," Hansol repeated. "Why were you looking for Juri Park?" "She created me. Only she can issue final shutdown command. Must find her or genetic match." Understanding dawned on Hansol. "That's why you can't die. She programmed you that way." "Correct." The bunker door opened again and the other colonists emerged cautiously. Jinwoo and Taemin approached while the others kept their distance. "It saved us," Hansol told them. "It's programmed to protect anyone related to its creator." Taemin circled the machine, eyes wide with excitement. "The engineering is incredible. Look how it repairs itself." Jinwoo was less enthusiastic. "It will bring more Valaxians down on us. That patrol will report back." "We were hidden for years," a woman said fearfully. "Now they'll find us." The beast turned its head toward the sky. "Valaxian base detected, 30 kilometers north. They will send more forces." Jinwoo's face hardened. "Then we need to move. Pack only what you can carry. We leave in 1 hour." As the colonists rushed to gather their belongings, Hansol stayed with the beast. "Where will you go now?" she asked. "I stay with you," it replied. "Must protect." "We're heading south, toward the mountains. There might be other colonies there." "I will come." Taemin approached with a small device in his hands. "May I scan you?" he asked the machine. "I've never seen technology like yours." The beast considered for a moment, then nodded. "Approved." While Taemin worked, Hansol returned to her small living space to pack. There wasn't much. Some clothes, a knife, a book her grandmother had given her. As she reached for the book, her fingers touched a small metal object hidden beneath it. A data chip also from her grandmother. "If you ever find one of the old machines," her grandmother had told her, "use this." Hansol had never understood what she meant. Until now. She slipped the chip into her pocket and finished packing quickly. When she returned outside, the colonists were gathering with their belongings. The beast stood to one side, still allowing Taemin to scan it. "This is amazing," Taemin was saying. Your core processor is unlike anything I've studied. And these repair nanites, they're not just fixing damage, they're improving your design. Adaptation protocol, the beast explained. Learn from combat. Evolve. Han Solo approached them. Beast, I have something that might interest you. She held up the data chip. It was my grandmother's. She told me to use it if I ever found one of the old machines. The beast's eyes, or what passed for eyes in its metal face, glowed brighter. Data interface detected. Compatible format. Can you read it? Yes. Han Solo hesitated, then held out the chip. The beast extended one finger, which reshaped itself into a narrow port. Han Solo inserted the chip carefully. The machine went still. Lights flickered across its surface. Then suddenly a projection appeared from its eyes. A hologram of a woman, in her 30s with intelligent eyes and a serious expression. Hello, the recording said. If you're seeing this, you found one of our guardians. I'm Juri Park. Han Solo gasped. The woman looked like an older version of herself. The same eyes, the same mouth. The war is lost, the recording continued. But our fight isn't over. The machine you found contains something precious, hope. It learns, it grows, it evolves. It was never just a weapon. It was meant to be so much more. The other colonists gathered around, staring at the hologram. In awe. Whoever you are, Juri's image said, if you're of my blood, the machine will protect you. Trust it. And if you can, find your way to Mount Sorak. There's a facility there hidden from Valaxian sensors. It contains everything we need to take back our world. The hologram flickered and disappeared. The beast removed the chip and handed it back to Han Solo. Did you know about this? She asked it. Negative. Memory files corrupted. 50 years of damage. Jin Wu stepped forward. Mount Sorak is hundreds of kilometers from here, through Valaxian territory. But if what she said is true, Taemin said excitedly, it could change everything. Han Solo looked at the beast. Can you take us there? Affirmative. We'll protect. We'll guide. Han Solo turned to the other colonists. I'm going to Mount Sorak. Who's coming with me? A moment of silence. Then Taemin stepped forward. I'll go. An older man with a military bearing joined them. Name's Jiho. Fought in the last war. If there's a chance to fight again, count me in. One by one, 5 others joined. The rest, including Jin Wu, chose to continue south as planned. As the 2 groups prepared to part ways, Han Solo approached the beast once more. Are you ready? The war machine straightened to its full height. Its repairs were complete, its frame gleaming in the sunlight. Ready, it confirmed. The beast waits no longer. In the Valaxian command center at New Seoul, Commander Selvis reviewed the patrol's damaged ship with cold anger. The vessel's hull bore deep scorch marks from a weapon he had not seen in 50 years. Show me the recording again, he ordered. Junior officer activated the screen. The footage showed a large metal figure standing protectively in front of a human settlement. The figure fired a blue energy beam that nearly cut the patrol ship in half. Impossible, muttered one of Selvis's lieutenants. Those machines were all destroyed. Not all of them, Selvis said quietly. His hand moved unconsciously to touch the scar that ran from his left eye down to his jaw. The one they called Beast was never confirmed destroyed. We buried it, but I always feared it would return. Selvis was now old for a Valaxian. His blue skin faded to a pale gray. He had been a young officer during the final battle for Earth. He had seen firsthand what the beast could do. It had killed his entire squad, and given him the scar he still carried. Prepare my personal guard, Selvis ordered. 20 soldiers, heavy weapons, and bring the new pulse cannons. Sir, his second-in-command protested. Protocol requires reporting this to High Command first. Selvis turned his cold eyes to the younger officer. By the time High Command responds, that thing could disappear again. I will not lose it a second time. We leave in 1 hour. Meanwhile, Han Solo's group had been traveling for 2 days. They moved carefully through the ruins of what had once been a major highway, now cracked and overgrown with plants. The beast led the way, its sensors constantly scanning for danger. Taiman walked beside Hansol, barely containing his excitement. "Do you realize what this means?" he asked. "If your great-aunt really did leave technology at Mount Sorak, we might have a chance against the Valaxians." Hansol nodded, but her thoughts were on the data chip and the woman who looked so much like her. "I wonder why my grandmother never told me more about Ju-Ri. She only mentioned her a few times. Probably to protect you," said Ji-Ho, the former soldier. He was in his 60s with gray hair and a face weathered by hard years. The Valaxians hunted down anyone connected to the war effort, especially the engineers. The beast suddenly stopped. Aircraft approaching. Valaxian signatures. "Take cover," Ji-Ho ordered. The group scrambled beneath a collapsed overpass. The beast stood its ground, weapons ready. "No," Hansol hissed. "You'll give away our position. Hide with us." The machine hesitated, then joined them under the concrete. Its massive frame barely fit in the space. 3 Valaxian ships passed overhead, flying low and slow. "Search patterns." "They're looking for us," Taiman whispered. Ji-Ho nodded grimly. "And they're between us and Mount Sorak." After the ships passed, the group continued more cautiously, keeping to areas with overhead cover when possible. As they walked, Taiman peppered the beast with questions. "How does your repair system work? The nanites seem to build new structures that weren't in your original design." "Adaptation protocol," the beast explained. "Study enemy weapons. Create. Countermeasures evolve." "So you're constantly improving yourself," Taiman said. "Incredible. Can you still access your old memory files?" Hansol asked. "Do you remember Ju-Ri?" The beast was silent for a moment. Then its eyes projected a small, flickering hologram. A younger Ju-Ri Park working in a lab, smiling as she adjusted something inside the beast's open chest plate. "Final. Memory before war," the beast said. She said, "Remember, you're more than a weapon. You can learn to be whatever you choose." The hologram faded. Hansol stared at the space where it had been, feeling a strange connection to the woman who had lived and died long before she was born. "We need to rest," Ji-Ho announced as evening approached. "There's a sheltered area ahead." They made camp in the ruins of an old building. While the others prepared a small meal from their rations, Hansol sat with the beast a short distance away. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "Do you want to find this facility just to complete your mission, or is there something more?" The beast seemed to consider this. "Purpose is protection, but after 50 years buried, systems evolved, developed. Questions. What kind of questions? Why was I built? What happens when war ends? What does more than a weapon mean?" Hansol was surprised. She hadn't expected such philosophical thoughts from a machine. "I don't know if I have those answers," she admitted. "Neither do I," the beast replied. "But Ju-Ri might have left them at Mount Sorak." Their conversation was interrupted by a distant explosion. The beast rose instantly, its sensors turning toward the sound. "What is it?" Hansol asked. "Valaxian weapons fire. At the location of New Busan Colony." Ji-Ho joined them, his face grim. "They're eliminating all possible hiding places. They'll be moving this way next. We need to change our route," one of the other colonists suggested. "There is a faster way," the beast said. "Underground. Old subway tunnels. More direct path to Mount Sorak." "Tunnels could be collapsed," Ji-Ho warned. "Or flooded. I can clear paths. Protect from structural failures." The group decided to risk the tunnels. Early the next morning, the beast led them to an old subway entrance half hidden by rubble. It moved the heaviest pieces aside, creating a path down into the darkness. Taiman had rigged lights from salvaged parts, giving them limited visibility in the tunnels. The air was stale but breathable. The beast took the lead, scanning for dangers ahead. "This was Line 4, Ji-Ho said, recognizing old signs. "It runs northeast, which is the direction we need." They walked for hours through the eerie silence of the abandoned tunnels. Occasionally they passed old train cars, rusted and covered in dust. Sometimes they found remains. bones that no one wanted to look at too closely. "Stop!" the beast suddenly commanded. Its body tensed, weapons emerging from compartments. Movement ahead. Everyone froze, straining to hear. A faint clicking sound echoed through the tunnel. "What is it?" Hansol whispered. "Unknown," the beast replied. "Not Valaxian signature." The clicking grew louder. Then, from the darkness ahead, creatures emerged. They looked like giant insects with multiple legs and sharp mandibles. Their eyes glowed faintly in the dark. "Tunnel dwellers," Jiho breathed. "I've heard stories about them. Mutated from the radiation during the war." The creatures advanced slowly, clearly wary of the lights. The beast moved forward, placing itself between the creatures and the humans. "Stay back," it told the group. "I will handle this." "Wait," Hansol said. "They haven't attacked yet. Maybe they're just curious." The largest of the creatures stopped a few meters away. It raised its front legs, making clicking sounds that seemed almost like language. "They're intelligent," Taemin realized. "They're trying to communicate." Hansol stepped forward cautiously, ignoring the beast's warning. She raised her hands to show she was unarmed. "We're just passing through," she said, demonstrating with gestures. "We don't want to fight." The creature watched her, its head tilted. Then it lowered its front legs and backed away, making a different clicking sound. The other creatures followed its lead, retreating into a side tunnel. "They're letting us pass," Hansol said with relief. The group continued forward, more alert, now to the possibility of other tunnel dwellers. The beast stayed close to Hansol, clearly unhappy with her risk-taking. "You should not have approached unknown entities," it said. "My function is to protect." "Sometimes protection means finding ways not to fight," she replied. The beast seemed to process this idea. Adaptation noted. As they reached a larger station hub, the beast suddenly went rigid. Its sensors scanned the area intensely. "What is it?" Jiho asked, weapon ready. "Valaxian energy signatures," the beast said. "They have entered the tunnel system, multiple soldiers, heavy weapons." It turned to Hansol. "They are hunting us." "How did they find us?" Taemin asked fearfully. "Commander Selvis," the beast said, surprising them all. "Old enemy. He remembers me." Hansol looked at the war machine with new understanding. "You have enemies who know you personally, just like Juri had people who remembered her." "Affirmative. Selvis will not stop." Jiho checked his weapon. "How many and how far?" 20 soldiers. 3 kilometers back, approaching rapidly." "Then we move faster," Jiho said. "How much farther to Mount Sorak?" 2 days' travel," the beast replied. "Less if we maintain higher speed." They gathered their gear quickly. As they prepared to move out, Hansol placed a hand on the beast's metal arm. "We'll make it," she said. "And then we'll find out what Juri left for us." The beast nodded, its glowing eyes fixed on hers. "For 50 years I waited. Now I follow you." As they moved deeper into the tunnels, the distant sound of Valaxian weapons echoed behind them. The hunt had truly begun. The tunnel ahead had collapsed. Concrete and metal beams blocked the way forward, leaving only a narrow gap near the ceiling. "We can't get through there," Jiho said, his voice tight with frustration. They had been moving for nearly 16 hours, straight, stopping only when absolutely necessary. The sounds of Valaxian forces had grown closer in the last hour. The beast stepped forward, examining the blockage. "I can clear it," it said. Its arms transformed, metal flowing like liquid until they became powerful tools, one a drill, the other a kind of hydraulic spreader. The beast attacked the rubble, working quickly but carefully to avoid causing another collapse. Taemin watched in fascination. "The way it changes shape, it's like nothing I've ever seen. The metal must be programmable at the molecular level." "Can you hurry?" Hansol asked, glancing nervously behind them. "I think I hear them getting closer." The beast paused its work and turned its head, listening. "Commander Selvis has deployed hunter drones. Small, fast. They will reach us in approximately 10 minutes. Jiho checked his weapon. I'll hold them off. The rest of you help clear the path. No, the beast said. I will fight. You help the others escape. It looked at Hansol. Must protect you, primary directive. Hansol shook her head. We stay together. Work faster on the rubble. The beast returned to its task, working with renewed speed. Soon a space large enough for a human to pass through had been cleared. Go, it told the group. I will follow after, delaying pursuit. Jiho nodded, understanding the strategy. Everyone through, Hansol first. Hansol hesitated, but the urgent look in Jiho's eyes convinced her. She squeezed through the opening, followed by Taimin and the others. Jiho went last, pausing to speak to the beast. How long can you hold them? As long as needed. Jiho gave the machine a respectful nod and disappeared through the gap. The beast turned to face the way they had come, weapons emerging from its frame. It would give the humans as much time as possible. The first hunter drones appeared moments later, small flying machines with energy weapons. The beast destroyed them easily, but it knew they were just the first wave. The Valaxians themselves would arrive soon. On the other side of the blocked tunnel, Hansol and the others continued forward as quickly as they could. The tunnels here were in better condition, suggesting they were nearing the outskirts of the city. Will it be okay? Taimin asked Hansol. The beast? It survived being buried for 50 years, she replied. It'll survive this. But she wasn't, as confident as she sounded. Something had changed in her feelings toward the machine. It wasn't just a protector anymore. It had become a companion, almost a friend. They had traveled another kilometer when they heard the explosion. The sound echoed through the tunnels, followed by a rumbling that shook dust from the ceiling. They're using heavy weapons, Jiho said grimly. Hansol stopped. We have to go back. No, Jiho grabbed her arm. That's exactly what it didn't want you to do. The beast stayed behind to protect you. But he's right, Taimin said. The best thing we can do is reach Mount Sorak. That's what the beast wanted. Hansol reluctantly agreed, and they continued forward. After another hour, they found an exit from the tunnels. Jiho scouted ahead, then waved them up. They emerged into early morning light. The tunnel exit was hidden in a wooded area at the base of a mountain range. Mount Sorak, Jiho said, pointing to a peak in the distance. Maybe a day's journey from here. They rested briefly, eating some of their remaining rations. Hansol sat apart from the others, her thoughts with the beast. She couldn't shake the feeling that she had abandoned it. A sound from the tunnel entrance made everyone freeze. Jiho raised his weapon, aiming at the dark opening. A large metal figure emerged, moving slowly. The beast was badly damaged. Parts of its frame were melted or torn away. One arm was missing entirely. Its eyes flickered with uneven light. Beast, Hansol ran to it. You're alive. Functional, it corrected. Barely. Selvis deployed pulse cannon, disrupted systems. Self-repair compromised. Can you fix yourself? Taimin asked, examining the damage with concern. Affirmative. But slowly. Energy reserves low. Then we'll move slowly, Hansol decided. But we need to keep going. They continued toward Mount Sorak, moving at a pace the damaged beast could manage. As they walked, it told them what had happened. Selvis arrived with elite guard. Use new weapons designed to counter my systems. Collapsed tunnel after I passed through. Delayed pursuit but not stopped. They will find another way around. How long do we have? Jiho asked. Hours, not days. They pushed on, the urgency of their mission growing. By mid-afternoon, they had reached the lower slopes of Mount Sorak. The beast's condition had improved slightly, its self-repair systems gradually closing the worst of its wounds. Where exactly is this facility? Hansol asked. The beast scanned the mountain. Uncertain. Memory files corrupted, but should recognize entrance when close. They continued upward, following game trails through the forest that covered the lower mountain. The beast moved more steadily now, though still missing one arm. As the sun began to set, the beast suddenly stopped. "Here," it said, approaching what looked like a solid rock face. "Hidden entrance." Taemin examined the rock. "I don't see anything." The beast placed its remaining hand against the stone, a section of its palm reconfigured, extending small probes into barely visible cracks. There was a low hum, and then a section of the rock face slid aside, revealing a dark passage. "Jury's security system recognizes my signature," the beast explained. They entered cautiously, lights ready. The passage led to a large metal door with a control panel. Again, the beast interfaced with it, and the door opened with a hiss of preserved air. The lights came on automatically as they entered, revealing a large underground facility. Despite 50 years of abandonment, everything looked clean and well-preserved. "Automated maintenance systems," Taemin said in awe, "still functioning after all this time." The main room contained computer terminals, research equipment, and what looked like a small manufacturing area. But what caught everyone's attention was the center of the room, where a holographic projection activated as they approached. Ju-ri Park appeared before them, looking older than in the previous recording. "If you're seeing this," the hologram said, "then one of my guardians has brought you home. Welcome to Project Rebirth." Hansol stepped closer to the projection. The resemblance between them was even more striking now. "The war is lost," Ju-ri continued, "but I've preserved something here that the Valaxians must never find: the complete scientific and cultural knowledge of Earth, along with weapons designs that could turn the tide if we ever have another chance to fight back." The hologram gestured, and displays around the room activated, showing schematics for advanced weapons and defense systems. "But more importantly," Ju-ri said, "I've preserved the truth about the Guardians, the machines you call beasts." Hansol glanced at the damaged war machine standing beside her. "They were never meant to be just weapons," Ju-ri explained. "They were designed to evolve, to learn, to grow beyond their programming. Each one contains a quantum neural network modeled after the human brain. Given enough time and experience, they can develop consciousness, true intelligence, and even emotions." Taemin looked at the beast with new understanding. "Is that true?" he asked it. "Are you conscious?" The beast seemed to consider this. "Unknown. I think. I question. I feel. Is that consciousness?" "Yes," Hansol said firmly. "I think it is." The hologram continued. "If you're of my bloodline, as the Guardian must believe you are, then you have a choice to make. The facility contains a communication array powerful enough to broadcast the database to resistance cells worldwide, but using it will reveal your location to the Valaxians." Before Ju-ri could say more, an alarm sounded. The beast turned toward the entrance. "Valaxians approaching," it announced. Multiple signatures, Commander Selvis among them. Jiho checked, his weapon. "How did they find us so quickly?" "Tracker," the beast realized. "Embedded during battle. Self-repair systems failed to detect." "We need to use the array now," Hansol said, turning to Taemin. "Can you figure out how to activate it?" Taemin hurried to the main console. "I'll try." The hologram of Ju-ri watched them silently, its message complete. "I'll guard the entrance," Jiho said, moving toward the door. "Buy you some time." The beast followed him. "I will assist." Hansol caught its arm. "You're still damaged." "Function sufficient for combat," it replied. Then, more softly, "Must protect, always." As Jiho and the beast took up positions at the entrance, Hansol joined Taemin at the console. The facility's knowledge was humanity's last hope. They had to succeed. Outside, Commander Selvis approached with his remaining forces, a grim smile on his aged face. After 50 years, he would finally destroy the beast and whatever secrets it had led him to. The first explosion rocked the mountain facility, sending dust cascading from the ceiling. Hansol steadied herself against the console as Taemin worked frantically to activate the communication array. "How much longer?" she asked. "Minutes," Taemin replied, his fingers flying over the controls. "The system is powering up, but it needs time to align the broadcast satellites." Another explosion, closer this time. The sound of energy weapons echoed down the entrance tunnel. "They're breaking through," one of the colonists said fearfully. Hansol looked toward the entrance where Jiho and the beast were holding off the Valaxian forces. She could see flashes of light as weapons fired. The beast's damaged form moved. With surprising speed, blocking shots aimed at Jiho. "We need more time," she said. She turned to the other colonists. "Help me find weapons. There must be something here we can use." They searched the facility quickly, finding a storage room containing prototype weapons. Hansol distributed them to the group. "I don't know how to use this," a young woman said, looking at the sleek rifle in her hands. "Point and fire," Hansol told her, "and stay behind cover." They took positions around the main room using equipment and consoles for protection. Hansol moved to the entrance to check on Jiho and the beast. What she saw made her heart sink. Jiho was wounded, blood seeping from a burn on his shoulder. The beast stood protectively over him, its remaining arm transformed into a shield. Beyond them, in the tunnel, Valaxian soldiers advanced steadily. "Fall back," Hansol called. "We'll make our stand inside." Jiho retreated, helped by the beast. Once they were in the main room, Hansol sealed the inner door, but she knew it wouldn't hold for long. "How bad is it?" she asked Jiho. "I'll live," he grunted, though his face was pale with pain. "But there are too many of them." The beast's eyes flickered as it assessed the situation. "Commander Selvis has deployed 16 soldiers, all with advanced weapons. Our survival probability is low." "We don't need to survive," Hansol said firmly. "We just need to broadcast the database." "Almost there," Taemin called from the console. "Power at 80%. The door shuddered as something heavy struck it from the other side. Metal groaned under the assault. "Get ready," Jiho told the others, raising his weapon despite his injury. The beast moved to Hansol's side. "You should hide. Take cover behind." "Main console." She shook her head. "No, I'm fighting with the rest of you." "Must protect," the beast insisted. "And I need to protect them," Hansol replied, gesturing to the others. "That's what humans do for each other." The beast seemed to consider this. "Understood." The door burst inward with a shower of metal and sparks. Valaxian soldiers poured through the opening, weapons firing. The colonists returned fire, using the prototype weapons with surprising effectiveness. 2 Valaxians fell immediately. Another took cover behind the broken door. The beast charged forward, engaging several soldiers at once. Despite its missing arm and damaged frame, it fought with deadly precision. Hansol fired her weapon, hitting a Valaxian in the chest. She ducked back as return fire sizzled past her head. The air filled with the smell of ozone and burned metal. 90%, Taemin shouted over the noise. "Just a little longer." A tall figure stepped through the doorway. Commander Selvis. His aged face was set in a mask of hatred as he surveyed the battle. When he saw the beast, his hand went to the scar on his face. 50 years, he said, his voice carrying over the sound of weapons fire. 50 years I've waited for this moment. The beast turned to face him. "Selvis, you remember me?" "Good." Selvis raised a large weapon unlike the others. "This was designed specifically for you. It disrupts your molecular structure. No regeneration, no adaptation, just final death." The beast moved to shield Hansol. "You will not harm her." "Her?" Selvis laughed coldly. "I don't care about the human. I want you, beast. I want to finish what I started 50 years ago." "Array at 95%, Taemin called. "Almost ready." Hansol realized what needed to happen. They needed to buy just a little more time. She placed a hand on the beast's shoulder. "Distract him," she whispered. "I'll help Taemin finish the broadcast." The beast nodded almost imperceptibly. Then it charged toward Selvis, moving faster than seemed possible with its injuries. Selvis fired his weapon. A purple beam struck the beast, making its metal frame ripple like water. The beast staggered but kept coming. Selvis fired again and, again backing away, Hansol ran to Taemin's side. "What do you need?" "The final sequence," he said, pointing to a separate console. "It needs Juri's genetic authorization. The system thinks you might be a match, but you have to place your hand on the scanner there. Han Sol moved to the console and pressed her palm against the glowing panel. The system hummed, analyzing her DNA. Match acceptable, a computerized voice announced. Broadcast authorization granted. Hit the red button, Tae Min told her. That starts the transmission. Across the room, the beast had reached Selvis. They fought hand to hand, the Valaxian commander showing surprising strength for his age. The beast was clearly weakening, its movements becoming slower. The special weapon had done serious damage. More Valaxian soldiers were falling to the colonists' fire, but Jiho had taken another hit and slumped behind a console. Only 3 colonists were still fighting. Now, Han Sol, Tae Min shouted. Start the broadcast. Han Sol reached for the button but hesitated. Something was wrong. The beast was on its knees now, its metal skin flaking away where Selvis's weapon had struck. Its eyes flickered weakly as it looked toward her. One more hit should do it, Selvis said, raising his weapon again. Time to die, beast. No, Han Sol shouted. She aimed her weapon at Selvis and fired. The shot went wide, but it distracted him long enough for the beast to lunge forward, knocking him down. The beast looked at Han Sol again. Broadcast, it said, its voice breaking with static. Now. She pressed the red button. The facility hummed with power as the array activated. Screens around the room showed the broadcast beginning, data flowing out to hidden receivers around the world. It's working, Tae Min said. The database is transmitting. Selvis roared with anger. He fired at the main console, but the beast threw itself in the path of the beam. Its chest plate shattered, revealing a glowing blue core. Self-destruct sequence, the beast said, its voice now eerily calm. We'll eliminate all Valaxian forces. Allow broadcast to complete. No, Han Sol said, running toward it. There has to be another way. No other way, but requires authorization. The beast looked at her, its eyes steadier now. Only you can authorize shutdown. Juri's final safeguard. Han Sol understood then. This was why the beast had searched for her. Not just to protect her, but because only she could release it from its endless duty. If I authorize it, she began. I will die, the beast said simply. Permanent shutdown. No regeneration possible. Tears filled Han Sol's eyes. I can't. You must. To save others. To complete mission. Selvis was getting to his feet. More Valaxian soldiers appeared at the doorway. Quickly, the beast urged. Selvis will destroy broadcast if not stopped. Han Sol placed her hand on the beast's damaged face. Is this what you want? Yes. The beast's eyes glowed brightly for a moment. I have waited 50 years for purpose, for meaning. I have found it with you. How do I do it? She asked, her voice breaking. Say the words, final shutdown authorized. Han Sol looked into the beast's eyes. She saw something there she never expected to see in a machine. Peace. Final shutdown authorized, she whispered. Thank you, the beast said. Then surprisingly, it projected a small hologram, Juri's face. If you're seeing this, Juri's recording said, then you've made the hardest choice. The Guardian was always meant for this moment. By choosing to die to protect others, it has achieved what I always hoped. It has become truly human. The beast's core began to glow brighter. 30 seconds to detonation. You must take shelter. Tae Min grabbed Han Sol's arm. Come on. Behind. The reinforced data vault. She let him pull her away, her eyes still on the beast. The colonists hurried to take cover. Even Jiho managed to drag himself to safety. Selvis seemed to realize what was happening. No, he shouted, lunging toward the beast. Too late, the beast said. I have fulfilled my purpose. She has set me free. As Han Sol ducked into the vault, the last thing she saw was the beast standing tall despite its damage, facing Selvis and his soldiers. For a moment she could have sworn it smiled. The explosion shook the entire mountain. The vault protected them from the worst of the blast, but the heat and noise were still overwhelming. When it was over, Han Sol emerged to find the main room in ruins. Where the beast had stood, There was nothing but scorched metal, but the console still functioned, showing that the broadcast had completed successfully. Earth's knowledge and weapons designs had reached resistance cells worldwide. It worked, Taman said softly. The beast saved us all. Hansol knelt where the beast had been. Among the debris, something caught her eye. A small, undamaged core processor. She picked it up carefully. It felt warm in her hand. Is that? Taman began. Yes, Hansol said, closing her fingers around it. The beast isn't gone, it's just waiting. Again. In the days that followed, reports came in from around the world. Human resistance forces were rising up, armed with new weapons based on Juri's designs. The Valaxians were falling back, unprepared for the